Good morning. Welcome to the 2017-2018 school year. I am your superintendent, Dr. Morcease J. Beasley, and I'd like to introduce key personnel that will be assisting us in managing, supervising, and setting the vision and tone for this school year. I have immediately to my left Dr. Anthony Smith. He is the Deputy Superintendent, second in command. Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, sir.
I have to my right Dr. Ralph Simpson. He's the Deputy Superintendent for School Leadership and Improvement. Thank you, Dr. Simpson. Next to Dr. Smith, we have Ms. Jada Dawkins, our Chief for Communications, Public Relations, and Marketing.
Good morning, and thank you.
Next to Jada, we have Mr. Rod Smith. He is our Chief for Technology, and I'm sure you've seen that face quite a bit lately. To my far right, we have our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Kenneth Thompson.
Good morning.
Behind these gentlemen, and I'm going to just excuse them, if you will, from the first row from the stage so we can see these individuals. We have Mr. Tim Guiney. He is an Assistant Superintendent. We have next to Mr. Guiney, Dr. Keith Colbert. I had a mental block there. He is an Assistant Superintendent. We have next to Dr. Colbert, our Chief of Security, Safety and Security, Chief Thomas Treywick.
Thank you, sir.
And we have formerly known as our Chief of HR, who will be serving a new role this year as Assistant Superintendent. We have Dr. Doug Hendricks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I'm going to just excuse them from the platform at this time. We'd like to again welcome all of you to the 2017-2018 school year. You should know that we're very pleased to begin this year with a very clear focus relative to improving our student achievement. Our theme this year is committed to high performance. I'd like to spend a few minutes, first of all, sharing the areas of focus, the broad, if you will, general areas of focus. The first one would be creating an academically challenging and safe environment that's grounded in the instructional priorities of literacy, critical thinking, technology, and numeracy. You've heard of these priorities if you've been in the school district, but you'll see that we will have a very streamlined, narrowed focus to ensure that we secure the improvement that we expect and we know that our students can achieve in all of their courses. You'll see a strong emphasis on ensuring that our students are safe, that our environments are ones that support students, that lift up students, that provide them the dignity that they deserve and respect that they deserve in order to achieve and to learn at high levels. Our second area of focus is to ensure that we have academic and wraparound support for students to achieve grade level and above grade level content mastery. As you know, students are assessed at the end of the year, and as I've shared in various critical conversations, assessments are just the lay of the land in America today. Any job that you get in K-12, beyond K-12, will require an assessment. Therefore, it's our responsibility as educators to prepare our students for life. Therefore, assessments are just a part of this work. We want to provide our students the opportunity to be successful by ensuring they have the academic support and the wraparound support, realizing that there are some things that impact the classroom that may not directly occur in the classroom. Thirdly, we're going to focus on professional learning. As you know, content knowledge is very important, pedagogy is very important, and building leadership capacity, very important. We want to ensure that all of our professional development is geared to meet the needs of all participants at every level. Fourthly, we want to ensure that we have family and community engagement, governmental relations intact, and partnerships grounded in responsiveness, excellent customer service, and collaboration. I want all of us to know that we've got to get our community engaged. As a matter of fact, they want to be engaged. They will have it no other way. We want them engaged at the classroom level, at the school level, and at the district level. Any high-performing community has an engaged community. Therefore, I want everyone to get ready. And teachers, I'm asking that within the first 3 weeks of school, that all of you take out time to reach out to a parent to share some positive news about the children that you are assigned to teach. We know that they may be a little concerned when they start getting calls the first 3 weeks of school from thousands of teachers about the good things that our children are doing and what good things our teachers are seeing. But that is okay. It's our way of sharing and introducing this community to a culture of high performance. And lastly, an area of growth and focus will be communications, public relations, and marketing. Why? So we can improve our community support and our image. Oftentimes people say, well, you need to recruit. Well, all of us are recruiting. We are recruiting to fill every vacancy, not at any one time, but throughout the entire school year. We are recruiting when we are teaching up. We're recruiting when our teachers and parents are working together collaboratively. We're recruiting when our principals are supportive of our teachers. We are recruiting when the superintendent is supportive of principals and teachers. We're recruiting when the district level support staff are supportive or is supportive of teachers. We are recruiting every day through our processes and procedures, things that we expect or allow, not expect or not allow. We're recruiting when we're consistent in the good things that should be occurring in our schools and in all of our classrooms. Recruitment is not an event, it's a process. Therefore, we're all recruiting. So again, the 5 areas of focus: academically challenging environments, academic and wraparound support, professional development, family and community engagement, and communication, public relations, and marketing to improve our community support and image. Now what I'd like to do is briefly go over the instructional areas of focus for this school year. And we'll start in the area of curriculum. The first thing we want to do is ensure that all curriculum documents and resources are updated, shared, and used in the instructional planning process. Today, you received a communication that has outlined the status of the curriculum documents. Please, after this live stream, take out time to review that information and take the appropriate actions. We want to ensure that we provide and consistently utilize curriculum documents that embed appropriate evidence-based resources and practices for all content areas. We'd like to ensure that we implement STEM practices as a normal and expected part of the instructional process in all schools and classrooms, with a concerted effort in the designated STEM pathways. We like to ensure that we provide research and evidence-supported instruction to all students in all classrooms, using the grade level content so that all students achieve content mastery in all schools and all classrooms. We like to utilize, and teachers, this is important, I want you to utilize a variety of research and evidence-based instructional strategies to engage our students in critical thinking, realizing that critical thinking has standards, there are elements, and it results in dispositions or traits that we should see. You should see critical thinking in all classrooms at all levels. We want to ensure that we identify, inform, observe, and monitor and collect data on the high impact practices that are expected to be consistently utilized in all classrooms, with principals and others being informed of the look-fors that should occur in all content areas at all levels. We'd like to develop, and we're in the process of creating, a list for pre-K parents that will help our students have a command of certain words before they enter kindergarten. We'd like to ensure that we continue with the systematic teaching of reading, realizing that without the ability to read or without the opportunity to be taught reading, our students will continue to struggle with grade level content. And then, of course, for certain schools that have signed on board, we'd like to train them up in the use of a K2 core integrated approach. Those schools, you already know who you are. And then, of course, we want to ensure that we're doing daily reading and writing in all content areas in all classrooms. So what happens relative to assessment? We want to ensure that we're assessing for and of learning in a variety of formats, formative and summative. We want to ensure that we utilize teacher-made common assessments, district-made assessments, unit assessments, benchmarks. You should know this year, teachers, that you have an item bank that we purchased that has rigorous items for schools to use. And then, of course, we have a district-level item bank that we'll use for our unit assessments and our district benchmarks. Of course, the data from these assessments should be used to inform instructional decisions, including what should be retaught and what additional support should be provided to our students. Relative to the additional support for students, we want to ensure that we provide the students that need the increased learning time, whether it be through EIP, Early Intervention Program, or REP, Remedial Education Program, or before, during, or after school tutorials, or even Saturday school tutorials. We want to ensure that our English learners and students with disabilities have access to the grade level content. It should be clear that students should not be expected to perform at grade level if they are not exposed daily and consistently, every day, every period, without exception, to the grade level content. So all students should be taught the grade level content. And we should use a variety of platforms to ensure that our students have every opportunity to master the content and to accelerate when appropriate. Relative to professional learning, our focus is we're going to ensure that all professional development is aligned to teacher keys and leader keys. We want to see an improvement in the instructional practices, leadership practices in all schools and all classrooms. We want to offer professional development in the 4 pathways: content and pedagogy, 1 pathway; compliance, a 2nd pathway; the 3rd pathway, self-improvement; and the 4th pathway, leadership development. We will be observing all classrooms as we have last year, providing feedback to principals and collecting data on the instructional practices that we know will be improving across the district. And as I close, I want to remind everyone that there are supports that we're providing to all schools. My heart is that we would work together, that we would do what is good for our children. Always remember, commitment to high performance is a culture. High performance is a culture. And as we commit to a culture of high performance, our actions should speak of high performance. We come to work every day. We come to work on time. We give our students our best. We teach up to our students and not down because we respect them. We respect the law that says, as you lift others, you lift yourself. If you try to diminish others, all you do is diminish yourself. We're professional, realizing that as professional adults, we have more to lose. Therefore, we're very reflective about our responses and our actions. We hold our students to high expectations, but we recognize that they're children and they're making decisions, and that sometimes we've just got to mold and direct them in the way that they should go. But we should never expect of students what we would not expect of ourselves as adults. High performance is a culture. It's a process. It's not an event. Therefore, every day, every period, without exception, we're making decisions to do what's in the best interest of our children. We're teaching up to our children. We're ensuring that even though they may struggle, that they will have access to support so that they can experience success. And as they experience success on a daily basis, success in April and May will come naturally. I want to encourage all of us to bring our best to the table every day, to do what is good for our kids, to do what is good for your school and your classroom, to work together as a team, realizing that when we work together as a team and collaboratively, we can do more good for our children. This community deserves nothing but the best, and we should all be committed to giving it exactly what it deserves. I hope and pray that all of you have a great year. I hope that you will continue to support the vision, that you'll remain committed to high performance, that you will ensure that your actions reflect that commitment to high performance, that you will continue to understand that it's a process and that every day, we are making our future outcomes. Our future is not what happens to us. Our future is what we do to ourselves. Have a great year. I look forward to visiting all of your schools. I look forward to visiting your classrooms. I look forward to supporting you. I look forward to enjoying this learning opportunity that our students will have during this 2017-2018 school year as we remain committed to high performance. Thank you.